Hey guys, you alright? Never really tried this live stream before, so I thought I'd give it a go. What's it all about then? So I'm looking at this Mini. I think I mentioned it in my last video. Almond green Cooper. I don't know whether I'm going to bid on it. Do I or don't I? It's 1,330 quid at the moment for a Mini that has no tax, no MOT, and been off the road for like 14 years. Might be 13, I don't know. I don't know, seems a lot of money. But I kind of need a project, something to play around with. Piao and Vinny, they're just kind of done. I just fiddle around with them now and again. I don't know. I don't know when to bid either. I'm not great with this eBay stuff. So, do I bid now, or do I get up really early in the morning? I think the auction finishes at 8:51 tomorrow. Do I get up and bid at like 8:50, or do I go for it now? On the water. That means I've had too many beers today at the football. Who we got watching? I saw the DJSE there. Hi Alex. I'm just sort of fiddling around with this on my iPhone, so I don't know how this works. It's quite hard to see what people are saying, although we're going in now. Andrew, do it in the morning. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because you've got like Bid Sniper and things like that. So I don't know. I really want the car though. I went and had a look at it this morning. It looks spot on actually. I think it's probably be worth 1,500 quid. I'll be quite happy with buying it for that. But you never know, these things go a bit silly sometimes. They go for stupid money, so don't know. I've done a bit of research though. So I had a look earlier. I could sort of decipher the registration number from the photos on eBay, and yeah, it's been off the road. Last MOT was 2006, so it's been off the road for 13, 14 years. And I went and had a look earlier. It's completely original. It's never been welded, so that kind of really appealed to me, because to go and buy a Mini that's never been welded, yeah, that's not many of them about. But it does need work though. It does need a pair of seals. It needs a scuttle panel. It probably needs a front end. It's what I do with it. That's the difficult bit. When I bought Piao was up for 10 grand at the time, and I saw it. I knew what it was. I thought the mileage was a bit iffy, and I messaged the guy. I went and had a look at it, and long and short, I bought Piao for 6,700 quid, which when you look at it now, that's really cheap. But I've put quite a bit of money into it. this might be the same sort of car. You know, it looks cheap now, but by the time you've put seals on it, you've put front end on it, clutch, engine work, it could end up owing a lot of money. But don't know. It'd be interesting to do. Alex, yeah, sorry for those watching. I shouldn't say don't bid on it. Don't bid against me. It's a Mini on eBay. It's in Brighton. It's a Mini Cooper MPI, and it's an almond green one. It's currently at 1,330 quid. So that's not a lot of money. It's 2000. Sorry, so it's been off the road since 2006, 2007, and it's 61-ish thousand miles. Yeah, I don't know what else. Like I say, it doesn't want much doing to it, so, or not by the looks of it. It's one of those sort of cars I can probably buy, stick a pair of seals on. Alex, hi. Love you too. And probably sell it on pretty quickly, but on the other hand, I'm like, do I buy it? Do I put a whole front end on it, get all the paintwork done, go and buy an S-Works conversion kit from Mini Sport or something like that, and then all of a sudden it's quite a special car? I don't know. What do you reckon? I'm still not sure. Do I bid tonight or bid tomorrow? Well, Mark was round earlier. I spoke to Mark, and Mark's right. I think if I put a bid in now, it will just bid up to the next highest amount. So the reserve's not met yet. If I put in a bid for like £2,000 now, and it goes up to like 2001 quid, that's probably me out. Yeah, I don't think it's worth that much money. So I could probably end it now, put in a bid, see what the next highest bidder is, and have a nice night's sleep. Because if I don't bid now, I know I'm going to be up all night thinking, ooh, got to get up early, set the alarm clock for like 8 o'clock, get up, put a bid in on that Mini, and some nutter might have bid £5,000 for it or something like that, so not quite sure. I'm just looking at who's bidding. It hides their identity, so you can't see it. So the guy bidding now, the highest bidder, is a new bidder. So he's not bid before. And I spoke to the owner earlier, and no one's come and looked at it. So no one's been round and looked at this car apart from me. I went and had a look, and yeah, I don't know. If you're gonna bid on a random car on eBay, you would probably go and, if you're serious, you'd go and have a look at it first, wouldn't you? But I don't know, 1,330 quid with 12 hours to go. That's quite strong money, isn't it? It's all ready for 10-inch wheels though, so I quite like that. It's already a brake conversion, so fit little 10s on it, that look really nice. Shall we test the waters then? So there's a bid in for 1330 at the moment. I don't want to set the hairs running. To be fair, the people bidding on it at the moment look like pretty serious bidders. They've all got really strong feedback ratings. So I went and had a look at the car this morning. So it's a 1997 Rover Mini Cooper. It's an MPI, so multi-point injection, 1997. It is a proper Cooper, so it's not not that makes a big difference on modern Minis, because after 1997, whether it was a Mini or a Mini Cooper, same engine, same running gear, same power. But it's just the provenance that goes with it. So, you know, a Cooper's a Cooper. So I saw it yesterday, and it was 1,200 quid at the time, and I thought, yeah. I looked at a couple of the photos and it looked pretty solid. So the sort of rear end of it, no rust on it. Look round at the rest of the photos. There's not a photo of the registration number. In fact, that's it now, if you can see that. So you can't see much of the reg number, but I've kind of tried to work it out, and I knew it was 1997, so it must have been a P. And I've worked out that it must be P809 EGM. So done a quick MOT history check. Last MOT was in 2006, and it had only done 61,000 miles and been off the road since then. So I thought, it can't have done that many more miles now. And it's obviously been in a garage since 2006, 2007, so might be worth a punt. So I messaged the guy and I said, can I come down and have a look at it? Which I did this morning. Yeah, and it's everything. When you see a car on eBay, you think that car looks interesting. It's everything I thought it was. So I went down and had a look. Yeah, and it's got a bit of rust. I didn't quite decipher why the guy had taken it off the road in 2007. Nice guy, had a good chat with him while I was there, and he kind of said a bit that he didn't know how to weld and that sort of thing, so he kind of put it in the garage, was going to go on a course to learn how to weld, and it kind of given up. So I'm assuming last MOT advisory was about the seals on it, so I'm assuming he's probably had it MOT'd, and then he's thought, you know, next MOT I'm going to have to do some welding on this car, and he's kind of given up, parked it in the garage and done nothing with it since. And certainly that's the story he told me. But looking around the car, it's all original, so it's never been welded. The seals are still the original Rover seals, not being touched. And I'm not trying to mislead you, it does need welding, so it needs those seals replacing, but the fact that they've not been bodged up or welded or replaced in the past gives me a bit of interest. I'm quite interested in that, because as I'm sure many of you know, when people bodge things up and they weld over seals on, that sort of thing, it just makes a mess of it. So it's really nice to start off with a car that's not been bodged up in the past. It's not had dodgy welding on it, you know, it's just as it is, you know. So that's a 1997 car off the road in 2007. So I only spent 10 years on the road. That's not long, is it? 10 years on the road. Steve, if you check the list of... Oh, I can't see that. How do I get back to that? Shit. I can't see what you said, Steve. Try again. I'll try and read it this time. But it's been off the road since 2007. So it's only spent 10 years on the road. That time it clocked up 60,000 miles. It can't be that bad, can it? It looks pretty good when I went to see it. The only thing which was really, really gutting, so the whole car looks really great. I was like, wow, got to buy this. You only had 23 hours to go. There were legit bids, so the reserve's been met. And I thought, I can't make him an offer because, you know, eBay rules, less than 24 hours to go. So I thought I'd just go back and I'll bid on it and see what it goes for. But the only thing that was really gutting is the roof is a bit rusty on it. That's a really, really bad place for a Mini to rust. So it's up above, probably about 12 inches above the driver's door, on the sort of drip rail. Above the drip rail, first panel of the roof, there's, I would say it's slight corrosion there, so you can see it under the paintwork. But the worry is, if I rub that back and it's gone through the metal, I think, you know, a little bit of light corrosion you can treat, you can fill, as long as it's still solid, but it's a worry that you scrape that back and find that there's holes there. There is a, I was kind of hoping, I don't know if you, can I tilt my screen round? You won't see that, but there's a bit above here, there. I thought it was cobwebs, and I thought, oh, that's all right, it's just cobwebs, it's where it's been in the garage, but that's rust. So that's not great. Like I say, as long as the metal's still solid underneath, that's fine. I'm happy with that. I can do that and repaint the roof. It's if I rub it back and there's holes there, that's kind of a worst nightmare situation. Because I don't want to be putting a roof panel in it. So I might just have to take a bit of a gamble, you know, see what happens. Oh, Steve. How you doing, Steve? Steve's got a lovely, Riley, is it a Riley Elf or a, yeah, it must be a Riley Elf. Let me know, Steve. What's the other one? A Hornet, I can't remember. If you check the list of bidders, you'll find that a few of them have been bidding on Minis over the last 30 days. Yeah, so I think you're right, Steve. Like I say, no one's come and looked at this car apart from me. And that's only if I live quite close, so it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, looking at the people that have bid on the car, they've all got high feedback ratings. You know, 4,000, 5,000, 1,600. These will be professional sort of car buyers that they'll have seen that, like me, and have thought, that's not a bad price, that. They'll have probably done their research, same as me. Yeah, there's no new bidders on there. So, yeah, I might lose out here. But it'd be a good little project, wouldn't it? I'm quite excited about it. I was up in the garage last night measuring it out, making sure I can get 3 in there and fit 1 in that I could work on. just got to do it, and I. Should we have a bid? Let's have a bid. Let's see. Let's test the water. Because if I put in, it's 1330 at the moment. So if I put in 1340, will it go 1350? Should we try? Come on, let's go. Yeah, I have talked myself into it. I'll be gutted if I don't win this, but you never know. Let's go 1350. Don't let Angie. She's here. Don't tell her. You are the highest bid on this item, and are close. So that's it. No one's bid above 1350 at the moment. So if I refresh, yes, I'm the highest bidder. But don't know. Do I get up? Do I get up really early and do a bit of bid sniping, or just put a big bid in tonight and see what happens? Yeah, see, I like your thinking, Paul. 8 seconds to go. Put in your final bid. Don't show your cards until the last moment. I mean, it could be a fucking money pit, couldn't it? It could be a... It can't be that bad, can it? I looked at the front and rear subframes. They look pretty solid. It definitely needs outer sills. It definitely needs inner sills. They can probably be repaired rather than replacing the full inner sill. So there were a couple of holes that were kind of a couple of inches in diameter. And even the sills, the front, it was only the very, very front part of them that were corroded. So kind of from probably the seat backwards, they were pretty solid. I was almost in 2 miles. I'm looking at it and thinking, do you replace the whole sill? Because, buying a Mini, you want to keep it as original as possible. So could I get away with just replacing the front half of the sill, keeping the back half, blending it in really nicely? But I don't know. I think full outer sills, repair the inners. Front subframe looked perfect. They do. They don't rust really badly. Rear subframe looked pretty good. Although you're never quite sure, because the rear subframe on PL I thought was okay until I took it out. The engine is just an unknown entity, completely unknown. So the guy said he had it running about a year ago. He used to start out regularly and move it, but he's not started it for about a year. And he said the clutch is seized now, so that's pretty standard. The clutch is going to seize. If you don't use it, it's going to corrode the friction plate to the pressure plate. But yeah, so sometimes you can start them up, you can run them, get a bit of heat into the engine and it releases the clutch, but the engine looks really fucking rusty, really, really rusty. So I don't know. I'm going to go for it, aren't I? can't not now. I'm too deep. I've gone and had a look at it, and I was quite interested. So, gonna have a bid. Do it tomorrow. Yeah, as Paul said, you know, labour's free. Labour's my time. So, as long as I ain't got to chuck a load of parts into it, the only thing I'm gonna lose is my time. And I think for me the dilemma is, what do I do with it? Because the thought of owning a 1997 Almond Green Mini with an S-Works conversion, 60,000 miles, immaculate. I don't know. I'd sell one of my other Minis to have that. I wouldn't sell PL, maybe Vinny, but I might want all three. I'll keep telling my wife, I'm just buying it because I'm gonna do it up and I'm gonna sell it, so it makes sense, you know, makes a bit of money. And I've been desperately trying to sell PL for the last 2 years. For some reason, no one will buy it. Yeah, that's probably because I've never tried to sell it, but don't know. Maybe I should convince her it's her car, so I could buy this one for her. Nice little Almond Green Mini. Looks really nice, you know. Low mileage. And Steve, yeah, there's room for three. There is room for three. I've checked. I checked that before I moved in. And there's room for one up the side of the garage, maybe, you know, a shell, something to work on. But yeah, so let's see what happens. Buy it for Poppy. That's a good idea, Paul. You know, do it for the kids. It's for the kids. I'm thinking of the kids' future. I like your thinking, Paul. Then I need to get one for Charlie, though. So there'll be a fourth. So anyway, I've waffled on for like 28 minutes. Investment for the kids, that's what it's all about. It's just an investment. All Minis are an investment. Yeah. It's better than money in the bank. You put money in the bank and you're going to get, what's the interest rate at the moment? What are you going to get if you put £1,000 in the bank for a year? You might get £1,000 and 50p back next year. If you've got a £1,000 Mini today, I guarantee you that'll be worth 1,200 quid next year. Tony, I'm going to go and get a cider in a minute. Yeah, so I reckon they're better than money in the bank. Buying Minis, putting them in a garage, just kind of tinkering them, looking after them. I mean, mine. Ooh, I think the phone battery's dying. But yeah. I was definitely drunk when I bought PL. I was in a hotel in Leicester, working up there, and I saw it. I've been looking at it for a few days, and I bank with First Direct. Their online banking's brilliant, and I saw it and I'm like, I need to buy that car. I've gone and looked at it, and the guy with kind of negotiate a price, but I went back to the hotel. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I thought, I've got to buy it. So I picked up the phone. I phoned First Direct and I said, can I have a loan? I want I borrowed £7,000. It was 6,700 or something like that. It was a little bit less, and I arranged a loan. By the time that I'd done all the talking and that sort of thing, must have been 11:30 at night. So yeah, and at no point did they ask me. They said, excuse me, Mr. Miller, have you had a few beers? because I'd have failed then. They'd have said, we're not loaning you the money. But they did. And Vinny, Vinny, Vinny was just, I sold the ERA, so my last Mini was a green ERA. It was R1067. It was a really, really good ERA. Again, really solid, really nice. I sold it because I had kids. It was sitting in the garage collecting dust, and it was one of those cars I was kind of scared to drive. So I can't remember what the mileage was on the ERA. It was only about 35,000, but I didn't like taking it out because I was adding mileage to it, and I thought, do you know what? It's just sitting in the garage doing nothing. Paula, no, Angie, she's through there. She's not listening, honest. I thought, I'll sell the ERA. I need the money, young kids, etc. So I sold it, paid off a bit of debt, paid off a bit of money, and I thought I'd buy a Mini for £1,000. You know, buy a cheap project to kind of work on. So I bought Vinny off eBay for 960 quid. And you all know what Vinny looks like now. I mean, I've put a lot of time into Vinny, put a fair amount of money as well, but when I look at it now and think I bought that for 960 quid, that's pretty impressive. What else could I have done with that money? I'd have just wasted it, wouldn't I? You know, I've put money into the car, but if it ain't going into the car, it's going on the dogs, or it's going on betting, it's going on drinking. So, yeah. Josh, 650 quid. That's pretty good going as well. Yeah, you've done well out of that, mate. So, do we put another bid in before bedtime? Or do I get up early? £1,200 with a rust done. That's, John, I'm impressed. 1,200 quid for a rust-free Mini. That's pretty good, mate. I kind of have this theory with Minis. They never... Does anyone own a Mini where it doesn't need any work? It's finished. Does anyone own a Mini that's finished? I don't think they do. There's not a Mini out there. There is not, honestly, there's not a Mini in existence that is finished, done, doesn't need any work doing to it. They all need something. And they're the gift that keeps on giving. You could, a Mini is for life, it's just not for Christmas. Yeah, you guarantee you buy a Mini, it will keep you busy forever. But owning two, because I've got two, I'm like, that's a bit greedy, innit? I only need one. You can only drive one at a time, so why have two? So like I say, PL, I always bought that to sell it. I thought, I'm going to buy that car. I know it's quite rare. I know it's just going to take a bit of time and a bit of effort, but that car's worth money all day long. And I couldn't bring myself to sell it now. I mean, Vinny was different. Vinny was a cheap car. I've just got this thing with Vinny where, in my mind, even though I spent shitloads of money on it, I know I've put loads of time into it, I'm just like, that car owes me 900 quid. It doesn't, it owes me about fucking 6.5 grand. But it's just that whole thing of, I built it. I don't want to say it's like one of my kids. So I know Tooney, Alex Toon, and Dave Jake. That was very, very. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. I saw Dave Jake down at Paul P's house, and I mentioned that I might want to sell Vinny, and I think Dave turned around and said, "How much do you want for it?" And I went, "Oh, £6,000." And he went, "Hold out your hand." And I'm like, "Oh, shit, no, no, I don't want to sell it yet." Yeah, don't know. It's quite funny that. But anyway, listen, I've waffled on for nearly 40 minutes now. My phone battery's dying. Just thought I'd give this live stream a bit of a whiz. It's quite interesting actually, seeing your comments pop up. So, Paul P, you remember? So shit, he's called me out. I'm not going to sell it. But yeah, I've waffled on for a while. Phone battery's dying, so I think I'm going to call it a day. 14:51, go to bed, win it in the morning. Yeah, see, would you do 14:51 or would you do 14:51 and 51p? In my mind, I've got a price on it. I think it's worth a certain amount of money. I think it's getting very close to that now. But do you know what? If I said I think that car's worth 1,500 quid, and I woke up tomorrow and it sold for £1,501, I would be absolutely gutted. I would be like beside myself. And then you get in the element of like, well, if you don't want to be gutted, you know, just what's it worth not to be gutted? What's it worth not to be disappointed tomorrow? Well, I don't know, a couple of hundred quid maybe. So do I bid 1,700 quid then? Don't know. Yeah, John Miles. Yeah, I've seen it. I kind of know what it's worth. It's my biggest problem is I see a Mini like that and I think to myself, right, you know, a pair of seals, a bit of a repair on the roof, whole front end, spray it. You know, I could probably do that, and it might cost me 1,500 quid, a couple of grand, so 3.5 grand, and the car, I don't know, 60,000 mile 1997 Cooper, it might be worth 4.5, 5 grand, so there's a bit of money in it, but you know, I work in the trade and I have done all my life, and my biggest mistake is I don't take into account my time, because put that money into it, but I'll put 100 hours into it or put 200 hours into it, and I won't take into account that time I've put into it. So when you work out at the end and you know, you do it, you buy it, you put